Hi guys, I want to share something with you today. The thought that what if during this time, quarantine, isolation, and all the change in our circumstances taking place, if we could be a better us and the kind of person that we've always wanted to be. Now, none of us are immune to this situation. We can try and numb it, hide it, avoid it. We can be angry and rail against it, try and control it. Both of those are our fight or flight instincts. There are circumstances we cannot get back to, and we never will, and there are changes that we cannot force and changes being forced on us, and we're probably feeling quite powerless in all of this, and a lack of what people call agency. But we actually, it was a bit of an illusion, the control we had over our lives anyway. Many of us, if you've ever had a serious illness or somebody die or been made redundant, you realise actually in those moments, those things affect you. We're just in an environment where everybody is going through this all together, and there's an opportunity to face that together. And I'll be honest with you, I keep waking up like it's a bad dream. I still, takes a while to sink in that this is happening. Still hasn't landed in my subconscious when I wake up. I keep hoping to flick on the news and finding there's been a miracle cure, or the virus has mutated and now it's not infecting anyone, or the sunshine kills it in some way, as we've been some lovely sunny days this week where I am. And that's me, just being honest with you about how I wish this would all go away, but it's not. And I realise the only choice I've got is how I'm going to behave. I can either retrench or I can change. And crisis brings out the best and worst in us. It's bringing out both in me. I'm certainly noticing the deepest things in me at the worst are being brought close to the surface. The buffers that we have for life of busyness and distraction are all being stripped away. And the core sense of who we are is just so much closer to the surface. And I think we can decide and think about who we are when we come out of this storm. We are going to come out of this storm, absolutely. But now is the time to decide the person I want to be and to become that now, so that I'm ready when the storm abates. I want to hit the ground running. I don't know about you. I want to become and be everything that I can be in this situation for when this abates, so that I'm ready to press into what comes next. And I'd rather do that than resist and try and stay the same. I want to engage and be a better version of myself. Do you want to be a better version of yourself? And the way we show up in a crisis is the real us. The us in a crisis is the real us, unvarnished and stripped away. And the truest us emerges. So another question for you: what version of you are you encountering? What's emerging? Who do you see when you look in the mirror? Who are you when you're on your own with your own thoughts, for good and bad? And then this question: what's the version of you that's going to come out of this storm? Now, we can lead ourselves. We need to lead ourselves. It's the best way and the safest thing to do, not to hunker down and hope things get better, not hope someone else figures everything out, not to try and fight things, but to lead ourselves. It's the main and the only thing we can do in this season. We get a forced do-over. This is being forced on us. We can fight it, or this obstacle that's in front of us, we can press into it and engage with it and take hold of it. Now is the time to attend to that. So what have you been putting off due to busyness of life and distractions? I'll get around to that later. I'm too busy. I'll do that tomorrow. All bets are off on that now. I'm realizing there's no excuse for me anymore to put off all the things that I could do and could be, that God has shown me for my identity and his purpose. And suddenly things that used to be important are not important anymore. We're all in that space and place, and there is nothing more important than attending to who you are and your core identity in God. Looking at your why for life, where your attention and your focus is and what your purpose is. This is the safest thing to do and the smartest course of action for us to take. And I really believe at this time we can be closer to God, more satisfied, more peaceful and more purposeful than we have ever been. So many times Scripture promises us, Psalm 73, I keep repeating to myself, my flesh and my heart may fail, my circumstances around me overwhelm me, but God is my strength and my portion forever. Nothing can separate us, absolutely nothing can separate us from the love of God. As Paul tells us, we can find that place where those scriptures are so true for us. Do you know, in spiritual formation, they talk about the shadow self, the side of us in our brokenness and fallenness that needs healing and transformation. And that would be manifesting at the minute. And this is the time to press into finding healing and wholeness in that space. And then there is the better you, the redeemed you, the you in Jesus when you connect with him and walk with him, that we can water and tend and attend to and practice. So how do we do that? How do we do that? Well, journey with others is the key thing at the moment. Others that want to go through this with you, who have decided they want to come through the storm better and different, and a different person that can thrive at this time. And you can thrive during this time, and we can thrive after it. So you're invited. Journey with us at Sutton Vineyard. Come to our live streams on Sunday, where we'll be walking through this together. I talked in our live stream last Sunday. We're in an adjustment phase, dealing with the shock of change, but the investment phase is coming upon us. And we're going to be producing loads of resources for you to become the person you've always wanted to be, and to grow and find healing and meaning and purpose and peace. And we can do that. That's the investment phase. The battle for our hearts is coming next. Once our minds, we've fought that battle over our anxieties, the battle for our hearts and our meaning and purpose come next. So join us in our live streams, and at Sutton Vineyard we've got a bunch of small groups of people who are sharing their lives, sharing the deepest parts of them that are coming out, with no condemnation, like here's where I'm struggling. And I told you some of my struggles and want to share those with you. So there's another part of me to finish. I was walking along on my walk, the one walk that I'm allowed at the minute, in the sunshine, and everything around me. I'm actually in some beautiful countryside for a few days, for lots of reasons, and just realised I was missing all of it because of everything that's going on in my life, and realised that the birds were singing, the trees were beautiful, the fields were stunning. There was like a couple of clouds in the sky. It was just absolutely spectacular, and I thought to myself, here is what I'm prone to. I always think I'll find a moment of peace and relaxation once everything is in order and everything's going well. And suddenly I felt like the Lord said to me, do you know what, Jason? Imagine if you could find real peace, deep peace, the peace that you've always been longing for at this moment in time. And I just paused, and I felt suddenly a deep sense of peace. And I thought, do you know what, Lord? If I can find peace here now that I've always been longing for, I can find peace in anything. Thank you for that opportunity. So what's your opportunity to press into and become and be the kind of person you've always wanted to be? Let's do this together.